Hello, I'm here live. Yeah, what an interesting couple of months it's been. So, just trying to get my forehead in the picture. I'm just going to do a little chat about what month we're on. I've written some notes actually. Been quite busy just sort of preparing myself for the summer. I'll talk about that in a minute. Um, Now, January, February is the month of what my research has sort of found out is the unseen organs. So we've got the 5-star, the element medicine. If everyone knows that, that's the organ system we have. And then the 6-star of David, it's all these patterns that are in patterns and symbolism in the ancient histories, and they come in through my TCM medicine as well. And then they link to the elements out externally to internally to our organs. As this awakening continues, we can learn a lot from the nature outside. This is how I learned to get through my awakening. And this is how I share, or why I share as well. So January and February are these months that we always find this sort of depressing and cold and down. It's because it's the soul actually, and the soul is in TCM as well. It's the pericardium and the sanjiao. The pericardium is the unseen electrical organ that protects the heart. And the sanjiao is another electrical organ that it protects the jowls. So you have a lower jowl, middle jowl, upper jowl that protects the 12 organs, a bit like a tree trunk. A lot of nature is like this. So this is the January, February. And then March, April, we go into the gallbladder and liver. It's going to be big detoxing time. This is also when the next equinox comes in. The first one is in Halloween. And then Christmas, we have the 12 days of Christmas. It's actually meant to be very quiet, and it's about Christ consciousness and just coming into the darkness, the shadow, the deepest yin, which is the 21st of December. So all these, and then there's Valentine's Day, just bringing that in. And then there's Mother's Day coming up. So connection to the earth. And the Valentine's Day is connection to the soul. Father's Day in the June, because this is yang energy in June. I'll talk about what's coming then as well. So these big kind of advertised commercial days, and Christmas as well, obviously. The 12 days Christmas, eat, drink, and buy presents. We're meant to just be very present with ourselves for the 12 very deep healing days, so that we can get through. I say get through the next, but at the moment it feels like that because we're in this awakening. So we have a lot of centuries of DNA cleansing to do, rather than like every 12 months that a tree does, or like the plants and the trees and nature. It has this cycle, this life cycle that goes round every 12 months. But humans are processing a lot at the moment. So that's what I'm talking about, getting through stuff. Now, interestingly, we've got the king's coronation in May. So May is when it hits into the yang. So it starts coming up. So you have the dime, the star. And also, I don't know if you know that image, well, we all do know the image of like the male, female, the medicine image that comes like this. So we have all the like heart and lungs elements. So there's the star that comes out, and then the legs. So you've got 1, 2, 1, 2. This is the yang. So that's the 5-star point, yeah? And then the 6-star is actually in the middle, being the soul. This is the 12 organs. You have it sort of, it's an energy frequency. It's spiritual. Spiritual means electrical frequency, which is why we're being pressured and pushed to pay bills. When we heal the subconscious, or the subconscious awakes, whatever language we want to use, we all vibrate enough energy on this earth to create light. We will not need, it's amazing, which is why, we've got dark force pressure coming in as the awakening is trying to heal. This is the war between the light and dark that's been here for a very, very long time. Just this, we're opening up. We're actually strong enough to see it, so they come down to the earth realm to make it painful and messy, and it's a battle. Okay, so that's the electrical side of it, which so spiritual or not spiritual, we're all spiritual. You have dark matter inside your body, between your body and your soul. It's fact. It's all unprocessed if you have a subconscious and if you're alive and you're walking around on earth. So your subconscious is about to awaken, and it is awakening. And it comes through with emotional frequency. And if it can't be expressed emotionally because you don't know how, because we haven't been taught how, it comes through with physical disease. So every pain and every ailment in your body has a story to tell. And this is how it comes speaks through the spinal cord and the DNA. This is what's happening with every single one of us. This is why some people seem to, and it's all at a different stage and a different speed, and there is no, just thinking of the rabbit and the hare, things like that. There's no race. We all have a divine timing of when these things happen. But the word "I am spiritual," I've just get rid of that now, really, because this maybe a few years ago, yeah, but and if you're taking readings, so anyway, let's go back because there's so much information that comes through me sometimes. So this star, this is the yang energy. So I was talking about the months, wasn't I? Yeah. So we've got January, February, and then March, April is the gallbladder, liver. So it comes around like this. It comes around the arm. Okay. So gallbladder, liver, and then we come into the summer, which is here. So the summer is the yang energy. This is the father energy. This is what's under attack. Okay, so May, June, July, August is going to be rough, really rough. But remember, the dark forces only pushes you to the light, and we have to see how manipulated we have been for thousands and thousands of years for it to stop. And we can all do this. And my video is just to give as much information as I can of my personal journey. I know now I went through it 10 years ago, so now I can see everyone going through the same sort of things I went through, and so it can help, show people how to get through. I was told from very high forces that I'd be showing people how to go through the pain. So literally, all your suppressed emotions and your traumas and your pains lie within your DNA, and the vibration of the DNA is at one level here. So if you keep talking about it, you're just going to re-traumatize yourself. I'm saying to you now, because the dark forces are in the aura of the earth realm. So are many, many light forces, but the light forces can't do anything until you connect to your soul, and we can then connect, because it's free will. The planet is free will. So they can't come down, because it would cause the earth to combust. It just wouldn't work. So, but the dark forces know that we can't see them fully, and we have fears about what's going on. So this is the manipulation, coercive manipulation. If you're not quite sure about all this stuff, it's actually reflective in your life. So a lot of people are having fractures in communication. So when you see problems with communication with your family, your job, your relationships, anything like this, I said this, didn't say this, or there's arguments happening, or harassment things, coercive manipulation things, all of this is happening. I mean, you can see it in politics as well as, and I know it's happening. I'm a therapist in this work, so. But to understand is, as soon as you face your own fractures, so like I say, the DNA goes like this when you've got unhealed process trauma in the body. Remember, in here, COVID is here now. We've gone 1, 2, 3. It's in the body. So you go like this and you process it by feeling it. You don't share through the tongue. Here, you do that, then you can get psychic attack into your body through your heart and soul. So talking therapies, that's why talking therapies don't work anymore. So just be very careful. Or you have talking therapies with someone who you ask them, if you is there any attachments, or is there any entities in this room? So as soon as that, remember, when you talk about therapy, you talk about low frequency and pain. And that is what they love, and that's what they're trying to attach to, and then it causes many problems. You'll go away, and then you'll have problems with communication, because these communications kind of turn into arguments, manipulations, and problems with relationships. This is their goal, to break humanity, family connection. It won't work, but as long as we do the work of self-forgiveness, the self-love, this is the message of Jesus, isn't it? Like, to repent, basically, just say sorry for things that you've done, or understand other people and understand your boundaries. And then, so again, I'll go back to the DNA that does this when you have unprocessed trauma. When you process the trauma, so you've re-entered your trauma, the DNA goes like this, it turns on, and then your ley lines in your body turn on, and your aura field turns ding, like a light switch. This is the electricity issues, all right? All of us are under this spiritual attack. So this is why the pressures of the bills and coldness and the light and the frequency, when we turn it on, back on again, there's a lot about sexual abuse, and this is all in the news as well. So the dark forces have been here way before COVID to do with sexual abuse. It's my experience as well. This is how I know all my information, because I had to go in and I want to go in and process my trauma. I don't want to go back into that, but I do because I want my life to change. I want my frequency of my life to change, and that's how I work with people. So, sexual abuse and child abuse, and all of these languages that are horrifically, everywhere and on the news and things. We are all the inner child being abused by the spiritual rape. I don't like that word, obviously. Taking the energy away from our higher selves here. Okay, all right, so it's been taken away. And if you are disassociated away from your body or not connected with your higher self fully, then your aura field will be fractured. So it's able to let this darkness come in and to, cause chaos into lives. And it's causing, the chaos has actually been here for a very, very long time. And we're actually at a point that our immune system is very, very strong. And COVID is this strength of the immune system trying to purge. But obviously, in the system, it is not being allowed to purge by other forces. Okay. Now, I've gone off on a trail, which I always do because I start channeling when I do these videos. But I wrote some notes today. I was in a queue for some food the other day, and a couple of ladies, we were chatting, so it was quite a long queue. This lady had a blood clot on her head a year or so ago, and she didn't know if it was from the vaccines or not, but it was removed, and she had trouble speaking. Lovely, beautiful lady. And she had this scar that came all the way down here and all the way and travelled down here. They removed a clot like this. That's and this is what's being found. Okay, so metals that are in vaccines, whether you believe in vaccines or not, times have to change. And if you look into the history of vaccines and look into the history of viruses, now viruses are actually a detoxing from the symptoms of detox. They're exactly the same. When you process and cleanse your body, menopause is symptoms of detox, etc. Vaccines always, whether it's this one or another one, contain metals. The body cannot cope with it anymore. Okay, so what side you're on, I'm not taking any sides because that's what they want. There is no sides. This is humanity. This is the planet. This is the earth. And there are people having problems. And she said that she was very scared, and other people around her very, very scared. And it was a very sad story. Another lady in front of me, after one, she just continually, she had to be taken to 3 different hospitals and bleeding through the nose. And now she's got very bad eczema around the body. This is the kind of, not quite like that, maybe too extreme, but I treat different symptoms with different tool bag that I have. So I understand when the body is just reacting to heat or a toxin that it doesn't recognize in many, many, many different ways, not just the vaccine. I'm not getting this sort of on my videos. I do not want to cause any diversion with my language. That's the point. But there's been many, many different, stress itself. I mean, really what it is it's just causing extra stress to the body that it can't cope with, if we want to get down to it. And the body can heal itself. It's fact. Placebo is a medical research, 30 to 40% in different researches. Placebo is the mind, so it works, and there's no research on placebo. Have a think about that. The body does react to something it's told, and this is mind control. All right, so just think about what you're putting in your body, think about what feels right for you, and think about what goes into your eyes, into your ears, and into your space, and think about who, when, and where that you speak. This is the entry point to the heart here. Who you're kissing to, who you're speaking to, what you watch, what you see. What you hear and what you listen to. Smelling, this is a little bit different. This is to do with COVID, isn't it? But this is actually the entry point to the soul. Interestingly, in ancient history, they used to chop off all the noses, if you see in the stones, because they used to want to bring their soul back. But anyway, that's a different sort of subject, which is why smell goes with COVID and long COVID, because it hasn't processed the trauma. It's all unprocessed trauma. We all have trauma if you have a subconscious, and we're all here to process it. If you don't process it, the people that pass will clear the aura of the earth field. So then the people here down here do the processing of the trauma. And then once again, we will be able to connect to the other planets and the other galactical forces. And it will be very, very safe again. But I can only play and manipulate with us because you don't want to see it. We don't want to see it. We don't want to hear it. So this is what's called the shadow work, to see and hear, but be very, very careful because it's very trendy, this stuff. And to be careful with any work of healing or talking therapies, anything, to make sure it's not open with different fields. You know, there's different dimensions with different energies in, and they can hop into your and they can cause psychic attacks, physical attacks. They can cause palpitations and things like this. What else was I going to say? So I wrote down something. Yeah. So this is the issues with the subject in the paper as well, isn't it? With alien, things. This is why it's coming out. So all of the stories that come out are, whether they're true or not, it doesn't really matter. The truth. A manipulator, coercive manipulator, will always give part truth, part lie anyway. Anything that is a lie that's coming out is part truth. It's just twisted and manipulated. So yes, there are other species. Yes, there's other planets. Yes, there's other languages. Who, what, where is going on out there? All you need to know is you can find the truth out in your subconscious. And every single one of us who does this work in the next 7 years, okay, so we're only here. So we've gone, I've said this in some other videos, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got these waves, 3 and 7. If you don't know anything about surfing or oceans, the earth does vibrate in these waves, 3, 6, 9, and to do with about 3 and 7s of the ocean waves, which is why all these movies coming out with, to do with water, is because we're waking up into the body now. So COVID has taught us a spiritual awakening with it. Every single person on this planet and humanity is having a spiritual awakening in different ways. The reason it happens on different planets in different ways is because we're all a different frequency, because the Earth has her own 12 organ system, and the planets correlate to this as well. So the behavior, example, I do believe I'm doing still some research. I've got my picture behind there, the 2 planet, you can see it just in the background. That's my research map. So I do believe that England is the heart, and around Europe is the heart and the lungs. That's why you've got a lot of grief and war from you've got Germany and things like that, which is here. You've got Egypt, which is here. China is the crown, funnily enough, which is why there's a lot of control there. And then down into the kidneys, and Canada, you've got the adrenal glands and the kidneys. Down the nervous system, I do believe around India, and the stomach, and issues around blood and Iran. Iran is a lot more to do with the liver and the womb, which is why women have been, in the low frequency and covered. So a lack of oxygen for a very, very long time, because it's trying to suppress the energy on the earth realm. So it is massive great awakening times. There is light, hope and future in the end, and but the next few years is going to be a rough ride, and I'm here to teach people how to surf the waves, shall we say, of the tsunami, rather than it to hit you and it's just to tumble and roll around and then sort of get hit by the waves and not survive, so I forgot what I was going to say. Now I've gone off into my other little notes here. I'll do another little video another time because it's getting a bit long now, just on my research in Egypt, because that has come up, and that's a lot of evidence. There in the kings of the valleys and the tombs, I did a lot of research on the hieroglyphics. We did some translation on what they all mean. There's evidence in there of the power of the DNA being taken away with the third eye and the pineal gland, and that's what they were trying to tell us thousands and thousands of years ago. So if anyone knows the research on Graham Hancock, he's been doing the external research research. My son's in the background with his friend. And I've been doing the research unknowingly, startingly, and then I knew what I was doing. I was like, wow. So, because I was going inside to heal my inner child, and each time I went in to heal my inner child, then I got deeper and they gave me information on this stuff. And then I had a past life in Egypt, and I went out there a few times and did some research with the hieroglyphics. So I'll do another video on that. But to research this stuff, guys, Gaia TV is a great resource of news that's out there and people doing these researches like myself, externally and internally. Great information there on breath work as well, oxygen. And the other thing I just wanted to say, so we've gone into January, February, which is the soul. January, February, March, April is gallbladder and liver. Now, gallbladder and liver is going to be hard because we're going back into the physical form of the organs. Gallbladder, liver is also to do with menopause. I do believe menopause is actually spiritual awakening within the feminine body. Symptoms are very similar, plus the women are holding a different energy because we connect through our feet. I won't explain it just now, but anyway, if you cleanse the liver, you can treat all menopause symptoms, and it's the menopause itself. So this is the time to do it, but because we're in those organ months, these symptoms are going to be strong. Plus, we've got the equinox. Now, in my other videos and my research, we've got Halloween and Easter, which is the 9 months either side, and we have the equinox comes. And that's where I feel you've got a purge, a lift of frequency, and an ascension of frequency, which means then the symptoms and if the light gets stronger, the dark gets stronger as well. So I would advise just to do a liver cleanse, start doing energy healing with someone who knows about the galactical war, I've got liver flushing on my video on YouTube, and possibly Cambo medicine or different medicines. But just even to start researching all this stuff, because then also we're going into May, June, and that will be the father energy, and this is linked actually why we've got the king's coronation then, because it's going to be once we go into that energy and the battle is up in the father energy, in this consciousness energy. And this is where the manipulation is very, very strong. So any readings, any communications, you need to understand of what you're hearing, what you're feeling, what you're seeing. And if you're feeling quite confused and things like that, you're not going crazy. You're having a spiritual awakening, and we all are. But it's to talk about it. Talk about it. Be open about it. And it's not to be embarrassed and shameful and things like that. So I'm talking about it to sort of help and support us all to let things out. I've also had difficult times, and I can do videos to help people and explain at the right time about pain and suicide thoughts. And I laugh there because I've been through these things, and it is quite painful. I'm not going to do it on this video, but it's time to start talking, not in a therapy way, because that can be a little bit, like I said, no, it's one-to-one, but my videos I will start talking more if need be on these symptoms, just to make people feel like they're not on their own. And through these times, you do get really connected. We can see there is a lot of other ways that people are connecting and supporting one another, which is a beautiful time as well. And in the next, I don't know, I give it about 5, 7, 10 years, that there's going to be a great, great, beautiful time on Earth, and back, with hopefully no abuse, basically, which would be magical. Also, just about time and trauma, because there's a lot of talking about timelines and trauma. So I believe past, present, future does exist because of the subconscious brain and the unprocessed trauma. But as we process it, we will just be in the moment like a child. So the child at 0 to 7 is still there, because the brain changes at the front to the subconscious, if you have a look at it. And these are the numbers, the magic numbers as well, 7s. And this is about transformation and the waves of the ocean, 3 and 7. So I get 7, 14, 21 of the development of the brain and the ages, etc. But the 0 to 7, the child's in the moment. And this is how we will be on Earth, is in the moment. So time does exist, the past, present, future. But as the process of the trauma, time will not be existent as it is now, let's say.
This is why we shift in timelines. I'm doing this in my head. Because sometimes it suddenly feels like it's going really fast or it's going really slow. And it depends on where you are in your frequency of emotion. Fascinating it is. So just try and when you notice the time changing or going fast or going slow, try and notice if you're in, generally speaking, I'm trying to get it the right way around because I might get it the wrong way around. If you're having something like triggering or you're having a moment or a day that you're feeling really crappy and you're in your shadow stuff, um, it tends to go, oh, I've forgotten, really fast or really slow. But as we process it, oh yeah, the time goes slower and it doesn't need to matter. But the pressure gets faster, running out of time when you're being squashed to deal with your shadow stuff. So it's like that, pushing you into the corner. I've got it. So it's really, really, really fascinating. A lot about quantum physics and about planets and things like that. So just Gaia TV is another one that's really, really useful to look at. But I hope that video helps and lots of love. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to quickly say that I have got some TikTok videos because I do like really quick videos on there, and I'm normally on there quite regularly. I'm called something called Medicine Soul Woman. I believe I'm just quickly going to have a look. Medicine Soul Warrior. So Medicine Soul Warrior. I'm also on Instagram and I'm also on YouTube. All my other ones are Heal and Hope. Heal and Hope, Rowena Humphreys. Drop me a message, and if I can help anyone, yes, I will that way. All right, take care. Lots of love.